Hello y'all and welcome to another battle rap, and we got a real cool one for you. A 4-player free-for-all game. So we're playing myself as my Saurian Ancient, we're playing Jonathan with his Ogre Khan, and Andrew with his also Ogre Khan, and Toby with his Undying Dynasty. We will use the English name here because I think it's too weird to mix Swedish and English name. So anyway, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Doom of Darkness because since he did a shout out in his previous video, my subscription base really got a big raise after that video. Like 2-3 days, 40 new subscriber, which was very cool. So thanks for that one, mate, if you're watching. Otherwise, let's just start with some short rules. We're playing 1500 point game with a special scenario. What we did here was actually, after we did a list, we rolled for deployment, and each of us dropped one unit at a time, and the only restriction we have was the back of the units need to be at the table edge. So that's why you're seeing all of these different units facing off with no specific deployment zone, and after that we will deploy scouts and so on. And basically how you win this, we don't play victory point because that's kind of redundant for a free-for-all game. So we have some scoring points. You can see two of the markers, one in the building in the top and one in the building to the right, and there's also one out of this frame which is marked with small red dice. You can also see here in the middle of the table there's a small 3 inches template. That's also a vortex that it will scatter every turn. If it's pass over one of your unit, you will suffer 1d6 strength 6 hits, but you will also receive a d3 plus 1 victory points. The markers gives you d3 minus 1 victory points. Also, other things that give victory points, each of us have secret unit from your opponents that we will have chosen. I will go through them after we have seen all the deployments and all of the units, and basically what you get victory points is their point divided by 100 rounding up. So if you have a unit that costs 101 point, that will give you 2 victory points, for example, or a unit that costs 10 points, that will give you 1 point, and so on. And you see the statue in this picture. If you are within 3 in your start of turn, you can choose to roll on a table, and there's a risk you die, or there is a risk you receive victory points from that one too, or some other benefits. Otherwise, you can see the teleport in the top of this picture. You can choose to actually teleport, and it works pretty much as deep strikes in 40k, at least when I play 40k 10 years ago. You pick a point on the board, then you scatter 2d6, and if you cannot place them where you scattered, for example, say they land on a unit or impasse terrain, you will just push over it like a vortex would move over that impasse terrain or enemy unit or friendly unit or whatever. So really long introduction for this one, but it's kind of needed because there were some really special rules for this one. So let's go over the armies. First of all, we will start from the left corner there. You can see a unit of Skink Braves. In that unit I have 2 Skink Priests, and they have both the signature of Lord of Heaven, so the blistered spell on those guys. And next to them we have Andros Bombardiers, 3 of them. Nothing special with them. Then we have a unit of Tobby's Skeleton Archer. Then my Skink Braves, nothing special with them at all. A Saber, 2 Tiger from Andro. Then I got a corner for myself with my double tanks, auto include in whatever army list I will ever make for my Saurian Ancient. Next to them I have my Saurian Warriors. With that I have my Skink Captain BSB, a light armor shield, and a Saurian Warlord 1-up, Lucky Charm, and also Sword of Might, so +1 strength. Next to them we have Jonathan's Ogre Khan with great weapon, nothing more, he's also his general. Then we have a Colossus next to that from Tobby. It have great weapon, and up in that corner, which was very smart deployed of him, because he will, if you get the first turn, can possibly get the charge off. Toby's Chariot. Then we have Jonathan's Scrap Catapult. Let's see what's the name of it. Scratapult is the name of that one. Behind that teleport he have a Mammoth Hunter on a Rhinox. Then you have a unit of 9 reserves. If we going on, we go to a unit of I think it's 7 Shabtis, or 8 maybe. And in that ruin he have Toby have all of his character. He have 2 Artillect, one with a scroll and one with a Scretinal power. One of them have, let's see here, we have Path of Sand for the general, and with that he have the Desert Wind spell and some other spell which really didn't come into play, to be truthfully. He also have another level 2, a lot of light, burning brightness, and blinding speed on that one, and another level 1 with burning brightness. And I think he also have in that ruin he have let's see what's the name of that one, Architect, to give these Shabtis some better save, and some Skeleton Horsemen in that ruin. In the middle of the board next to the template I have my Chameleons. We will carry on with the deployment. We have Andros Sabertooth Tiger next to Jonathan's Frost Mammoth. Then we have Andros, let's see, Tribesman. In that unit he have, let's see, he have his Khan with the great weapon, and he also have, let's see, his great shaman. And let's see, the great shaman have the fireball spell, the flaming sword, and the burning rampart spell. I don't remember what kind of item he have, but he have the banner that gives you flaming attack, I think, and that's it. You can also see those unfortunately only base coated dudes are let's see, mercenary veterans with poisons and dual pistols and killing blow. I think they're upgrades. I don't know how those guys work, but they definitely have poison and killing blow, so I guess that's their equipment. And finally we have Andros Bombardiers and his vanguarding veteran, mercenary veterans they call. They also have the poison and dual pistols. And we have another saber tooth tiger. In the corner we have the, let's see, I don't even know my own army's name, Taurosaurus, the Engine of Gods, all of the nice upgrades with Sharpened Horn and Ancient Stegadon. I don't know what it's called, but the one that gives you a +1 strength and extra wound. Another unit of Chariot, and then Toby's Casket. And that's the actually Chameleons who have scouted next to the Casket. and that's it, all our deployment zone. So let's go through the unit we are supposed to kill. For myself, I'm gonna kill a casket because I thought the casket was a big risk of taking out my Tyrannosaurus. And also Jonathan's unpainted mercenary veterans, just because I really hate unpainted models and that's really bothering me. But also man-eaters, or veterans that they call, are pretty squishy, even though they have a really offensive power. They are glass cannon and they cost a lot in points, so that's why I choose them. Let's see, Toby, he chose to kill those bombardiers in this picture, and I don't remember which unit he chose, to be honest. I know Jonathan actually chose the Ogre tribesman up in the corner there and something else, not sure what, and to be honest I don't remember what Andrew told us he chose for unit, unfortunately. But as you can understand, those units that we don't really remember, we didn't get, so it won't matter too much in this game. But let's start. So Jonathan got the first turn, and what he did, he used the teleport, and actually teleport both his Mammoth Hunter and his Scratavolt away from the chariot, close to the middle there. His Ogre Bruisers move up, but they're still out of the arc of the Shaptis to avoid charges from them. Otherwise, his veteran mercenaries pivot a bit and shoot their pistols at Andrew's tribesman. I think he did like 4 woundish. This Scatapult scattered off the board trying to shoot my skinks, and his Mammoth Hunter shot his crossbow at the saber-toothed tiger, but didn't manage to do anything. And he didn't have any magic except for the mammoth, who had the ice shard, but no, the blizzard spell from Path of Heavens, but he didn't throw anything. So that's all from Jonathan's first turn. So over to Toby and his Undying Dynasty. What he did, he take his skeleton horsemen, take them out of that ruin, move them closer to the marker there, and he failed 3 out of 5 dangerous terrain tests, and there are only 2 of those dudes remaining. Otherwise, you can see his chariot charge, though the saber-toothed cat, and you can also see, or maybe not, his character left the Shapti unit which they were standing in and moved into that building. Toby did deploy his skeleton 3 inches from that statue, so he used his ability, and what he rolled was he could choose a unit to smite. So 3d6 strength 1 hits on a unit. Of course, he chooses the toughness 2 skinks with my 2 skink priest in it, and I think he killed half a dozen-ish skinks, something like that. I failed my panic check and run off the board, so I lost my 2 wizards first turn, unfortunately, but things happened. Camille and Skink passes their panic check at least, so that's something good. Here you can see his Colossus move next to the objective, and otherwise his chariot just pushes forward a bit. Here is his Shaptis pushing forward a bit as well. I think what he did in Magic Phase, I dispelled a Burning Bright on my Chameleon Skinks in the middle, and he used the boosted Burning Bright to throw it at his Tyrannosaurus. Also he shot the casket at it, and I rolled like 3 6s and a 4, so I failed leadership test and suffered 2 more wounds. So my Tyrannosaurus are already lost 4 out of 6 wounds. Well, shockingly, his chariot managed to kill his saber cat managed to kill his saber cat and saber-toothed tiger and overrun into his veterans, which was a smart move because his veteran couldn't do anything shoot against that. So over to the dinosaurs turn. What I did here was I pivot my chameleon to shoot at his casket. Tyrannosaurus charged the back of his chariot, and hopefully I will make short work of that. The chameleon skink actually failed a march test, unfortunately, so they could not march up closer to that marker to take that objective. So they are not within 3 inches of it, but they will probably at least shoot down his skeleton horseman in the shooting phase. Well, for this flank I move up my skink braves because they were pretty much in a bad situation. My hope here is that the saber-toothed cat will charge them from behind, so I can flee over that mammoth hunter. That's my hope because Andrew is actually after me before Jonathan could do much. Otherwise, the Saurian warrior move up next to the objective. We have that you need to be within 3 inches and have the most expensive unit within it within 3 inches to contest it. So they will contest that objective. Otherwise, the two tank brothers pivots a bit to shoot the last cannon at the Colossus. I really need some good name for those guys because we have the Sustainable, have the Lord Flappy Bird, Shyhammer have Chicken Head, and of course Mr. Doom of Darkness have the Gary the Gorgon. So I really need some cool names. So if you have any suggestions, put them below and I will think about it. Well, in the magic, I shoot the last cannon at Tobias's Colossus, and he throw in his dispel scroll, unfortunately, so we couldn't last cannon that big monster off the board turn 1, unfortunately. Other things that didn't went so fortunately was my Chameleon King shoot at the casket, did 4 wounds to it, but he passes 2 of those ward saves, so it's still alive with 1 wound remaining. So frustrating. Otherwise, the other Chameleon Kings make short work of the skeleton horsemen. The mercenary veterans and the Tyrannosaurus makes a air high five after crashing those chariots, but that is just slightly before the Tyrannosaurus slams into them with a overrun. So over to Andros. First turn. His bombardiers flank charge the skeleton bowman, and unfortunately you can see his saber-toothed tiger did not charge my skinks, unfortunately, so my skinks are in a really bad position. And the vortex in the middle decided to go over my chameleon skinks, which was very nice, so I get some free victory points after only losing like some chameleon skinks, which was very, very nice. And I passed my panic check, so it's even better. Andros bombardiers charged the behind of the veterans, and his tribesmen with all of his character frontal charge the veterans. And my hope here is really that the tribesmen will break the veteran and they will run away and run straight in front of my Tyrannosaurus, so I can actually kill the last one of those to get some sweet victory points from them. Otherwise, you can see Sabertooth Cast is chaffing up the Frost Mammoth. In this combat, some skeleton got their bone crushed by the bombardiers, of course, so they just reformed like that. And what I hoped happened did happen. His Ogre, Andros Ogre, actually managed to break the veterans without killing them. They have 4 wounds remaining, and they are even below 25%, so they can rally on a 8, I think it's the leadership of a veteran. And of course I killed Andrew's veteran, so I just reformed like that, so hopefully just charge those veterans off the board next turn. Well, here is the score table of the whole game. You can ignore every letter except the first one because it's written in Swedish, of course, and since so you can see Tobby got 1 point. I think it's from the objective with his scout, and I got 2 points from the chameleon skink getting crushed by those vortex. So over to turn 2. So for turn 2 we start with Jonathan, and you can see here his mammoth hunter charges my skink. My plan was here to flee, and hopefully he will redirect it into the saber-tooth cat, which he did, but he failed his leadership test, so he just run my skink down and run off the board. You can also see this catapult charge it into those bombardiers. Well, we can take a look at this flank. Basically what it does, his frost mammoth move closer to fight his Andros tribesmen, and his reserves actually just teleported away, I think, and they ended up over there. His plan was to get as far away from the shop as possible, so he ended up over there, and luckily for me his veteran rallied right in front of my Tyrannosaurus, which is very appreciated from my side. Well, you can see here his can't just move out of the arc of that Colossus because he don't want to fight that, and move up to threaten the chariots instead. In combat, the Scratapult actually managed to break those bombardiers and run off the board because he failed the pursuit test. And over to Toby's second turn. His Colossus charges one of the tank brothers. Here is the Vortex moving over the casket, giving him some free points because the Vortex couldn't do anything to the casket, unfortunately. Well, he didn't do much in more in movement phase, to be honest. He didn't really have much. His sharpness moved up a bit, I think, but otherwise in magic he blasted my chameleon skinks off the board. I think he actually, I'm not sure, he got really high miscast, I think, and so I couldn't dispel it, and yeah, they are unfortunately dead. Or maybe I actually didn't choose to dispel it because it was only a d6, and my hope were to survive with at least one skink, because he has some other spell. I think I stopped another. He have 2 of those burning bright spell. I stopped the other one on my other chameleon skinks, if I'm not mistaken. Here is the miscast. We used the signature spell from Path of Sand. Let me just grab my paper to see what the name of that one is. Desert Wind. So his sharpness could move up even closer to that Ogre Bruisers. But unfortunately for me, that spell causes some strength 1 hit and he kills my chameleon skinks. But his Path of Sand wizard lost all his magical level. That's something at least, so that's why I didn't really get what his second spell were. I don't actually remember what the casket's spell was thrown at. I think he thrown it at some of Jonathan's Ogre unit, and it has leadership 8, so it didn't do anything. In this combat, quite good actually. I did 3 wounds with the crashing attack on him, breaking his knees with the big ball on my tail, and he did 3 wounds on me with his great weapon strength 8. So now I got a juicy flank charge with the other tank brother in my turn, and that's really nice. So for my turn, the first thing that happened is the vortex go over that casket again, and unfortunately it didn't do anything this turn either. Unfortunately, that's, I hate it. Why couldn't that booger just die? It's yeah, it's a problem during this whole game. That booger will never die. It's just 5 upward, and T7 is hard to kill. But now let's go to something more better. The other tank brother charged the flank of that Colossus, and this will be glorious. And the Stegodon Pterosaurus, I mean, charges that let me see, those veterans and kill them, which gave me 4 points, which is very nice. And the Saurian warriors actually stand in the points in the beginning of my turn, so it also gave me like 2 points, which was very nice. So I got a lot of points this turn, and now my Pterosaurus is closest to the objective, and that's really as well very awesome. Well, I actually did something in Magic that was kind of bullshitting, I think, but I got off the poison signature on myself, because I choose, we have a, like Triumph and Treachery in the old Warhammer 8 edition, that you choose an enemy that will dispel the spell, and when we all want to push through argument spells, we just choose Andro as our opponents. So he will just, no, I don't care about your stupid arguments on your own units, you can do it as long as you're not in combat with me. So we pretty much get whatever argument spell we wanted through, and that's unfortunately a problem with this game system. Another cool thing is actually the extra poison I got, purifying, cleansing or something like that, actually is a Nurgle spell, so it's also effective signature, which gives +1 toughness, which is such a ridiculous lore attribute. So I gave that to my other Bastiladon, and my plan was using the crashing attack with both of them, because he would have grinding attack with initiative 2 with strength 6, and my hope there was he would not kill the laser cannon, but unfortunately he did kill the laser cannon before he could strike. And then my other Triscutus uses his crushing attack and got rid of the Colossus, and the Colossus did, I think, 3 wounds to my tank. But it's nice to get rid of that thing. So for Andrew's turn 2, he's Ogre tribesman and character are facing the Frost Mammoth, and the Bombardiers are moving up to shoot at the casket. And of course the stupid casket won't die. Andrew didn't get any magic phase, so any magic through, so to say. He might have done some with 5 all wounds on the Frost Mammoth, but that's it, unfortunately for him. Otherwise, you can see here the point score. Me and Toby are at a draw at 8 points, and the other guys haven't got any points yet. So over to turn 3. So guys, turn 3 for Jonathan's Ogres. Yeah, the Mammoth Hunter and the Scratapult arrived at the battlefield from overrunning out, and yeah, he actually rolled his Mammoth Hunter was close to the statue, and he rolled a 6, and he got 6 victory points, which was unfortunate, but yeah, that's good luck for him. Otherwise, his bruisers actually run away from the Shaptis as far as they possibly could. You can also see in the top picture that his Frost Mammoth charged the Ogre tribesman. Yeah, and the tribesman in combat actually managed to kill the the Frost Mammoth, and that's it for Jonathan's third turn. Well, this picture just showing in Tobias' turn that his Mammoth Hunter got hit by the Vortex and he received even more points, and the Mammoth Hunter didn't even die. I think he suffers a wound or something like that. Well, for Tobias' turn, also his Shaptis reformed to face the center, or at least that marker where my Taurosaurus stands. Also, he may just move closer to it to cast on spell, I think, at the Taurosaurus. Well, the Dance of Death on this side keep going on. The Chariots and the Ogre can just avoiding each other as good as they possibly can. And unfortunately, the Taurosaurus died, I think, from a Burning Bright spell from Lord of Light, if I'm not totally mistaken. Well, for my turn number 3, this is what happened. I moved up. The Saurian Warrior will pretty much stand still because they holding a objective. But the Bastiodon is moving. Bastiodon Triscutus are moving closer to that statue to score some victory points. I actually forgot to move out the BSB this turn, unfortunately for me, but I will move it out next turn. And this picture is actually all I have left of this of my whole army. Well, we did miss a scoreboard, but this is turn 4 actually. You can see what basically happened is we have 3 contests for winning this game. Jonathan did a great comeback with the statue and the Vortex hitting him, so he got a lot of points this turn. So he pretty much catches up to me and Toby. Andreas is almost wiped out. I think he got a Leadbelcher unit somewhere, and Leadbelcher Bombardier unit and some Ogre tribesmen left, but that's it basically. In Jonathan's turn, he's turn 4, he's Mammoth Hunter and Scratapult charges the casket. Hopefully that booger will finally die, and the Ogre Bruisers move up closer to the objective in the middle. This picture is showing his general, the Great Khan, is teleporting himself right behind the Ogre tribesmen. And to all of us players' happiness, except for Toby's maybe, the casket is finally dead. So well, over to Toby's turn. Basically what he did here is teleporting his chariot behind the Andreas line. Unfortunately for him, remember that he had the Bombardiers as a secret objective to kill those. And his Shaptis charges a saber-toothed tiger who was standing on the objective marker, and they killed that, so they are standing close to the marker now. So for my turn, you can see the BSB and the Triscutus are moving closer to the statue, and it's about this time I realize I cannot reach the statue with the Bastiodon because it's too far away, and this is turn 4. I can reach it with my BSB, and that's nice. I did throw up the buff, toughness buff on my BSB to give him toughness 4 if they decided to try to kill him, but he don't give them every 2 points, so they don't really have any need to kill him. Well, this is Andreas' turn 4, and his Bombardiers actually take out the Scratapult, and that's basically what happened in his turn. Otherwise he stood still basically because he is really surrounded by enemies from all flanks, so he cannot really do much. So you can see the result after turn 4. I'm still in the lead. I don't know if I was there in turn 3, but anyway, I'm leading in turn 4, and hopefully if I got some lucky with the statue and the objective, and they really don't get much, I can keep the victory. but it's a really tight race, as you can see. So we will see. So this is Jonathan turn 5. He's Khan and he's Bruiser charges and kill the Ogre tribesman. I don't think they even fight the combat. He has removed those couple of ogres. And you can see also the template is lying over those Shaptis, and that's because the template chose to go over the Shaptis again, which gave Tobias even more points, unfortunately. And of course, nobody wants some Shaptis in their behind, so Jonathan's actually reformed his Bruiser to take on the Shaptis. And into Tobby's turn, of course, the Vortex go through the Shaptis again, which give him even more victor points, unfortunately. So for Tobby's turn 5, his Shaptis charges the Bruisers, and Chariot charges the Bombardiers and will kill them, and that was his secret objective, so he gets 2 victor points for that. And yeah, the Shaptis are in combat with the Bruisers, and he chooses Andro as his opponent, and he just buffs his Shaptis with weapon skill 10, initiative 10. So that's gonna hurt for the Ogres. But then in combination with Toby rolling really shit and Jonathan rolling really good, the Shaptis lost the combat, but of course they are undead, so they crumbled some guys. The Chariot, as I told you, killed that Bombardiers and overrun a bit, and that's the Undead Kingdom's 5th turn. Well, for my turn, what do we do? Yeah, we move a BSP within range of that statue. Yeah, and I just want to say Andro couldn't catch a break in this one. He rolled for the statue with a saber-toothed cat who were there, and he rolled a 1, so we just removed the unit without getting any victory points from it, unfortunately for him. And well, that's my turn 5. Well, for the final round, you can see that Toby have a big lead with 18 points over me and Jonathan. I only have 13 each, so I think that race is kind of lost unless I are really good on the statue, and I hope for that one. Otherwise, second place will be an interesting race between me and Jonathan, so we will see how the final round goes. And as if he needed even more luck, the stupid Vortex go through one of Toby's character, and that character died. Some wizard or something died, and he gets some even more points just without doing much. So in Jonathan's turn, his Mammoth Hunter charges those Chariot, and the Bruisers are gonna fight those Shaptis. And this is basically all of Jonathan's army in this picture, I think. Well, in combat, the Shaptis will actually break the Bruisers now. They were actually steadfast, but he blew that leadership 8 break check and he ran away. And that caused a panic on his Khan. And Toby chose to stay because he want to hold the objective for his turn. Otherwise, the Mammoth Hunter almost killed the Chariot. I think it have 1 wound left, and in a combat on Toby's turn, the Chariot will crumble or be smashed to death. Well, I don't think anything happened in Toby's turn, to be honest. In my turn, I did the statue thing, and I lost a wound and gained 9 victor points, and the Saurian got some more victor points from that objective. So this is the final result. Toby got some really high score last turn as well, so he's up in 24. I'm second with, let's see, I think it says 16 on my scoreboard, and Jonathan at 13. Andreas has some really bad luck and didn't get any points. To be honest, I think both Jonathan and Toby chose 2 of his unit as the unit they were gonna kill, and he really ended up in a bad position in the beginning with all of our units hitting him, unfortunately for him. So that's unfortunate, but sometimes that happened. But this was a really fun game, I think. Very cool scenario. I think it got some problem, but it was basically a test game to see how it worked. A lot of things works very well. I think the vortex was kind of too random. That was one thing we discussed afterwards. The fact that it hit Toby's unit a lot and basically gave him the victory. He got a lot of points from that thing. I think it either have to be a more devastating effect or give less points. I'm not sure which one. But it was kind of cool deployment type. The objective marker was very cool, and so on, so on. Unfortunately, this game ended up for one of us got shit sandwich, unfortunately, but that's also something that might happen, to be honest. Too sad for Andreas, but yeah, nothing really to do about it. Otherwise, as I told you, the magic system was kind of, yeah, you can pretty much put your buff through if you choose a player who is not in combat. It's the same problem Triumph and Treachery had, but we were in the morning there discussing the rules, and we really didn't have a good solution for it, so we just go with it. I don't know how to solve this, but yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, put it below, what worked and what you think about our system and so on. I would love feedback to hear. If you have managed to sit through this very, very long video, I see it's much, let's say, more, almost double than usual of my vids. But that's it. As I told you earlier, if you have any comments, put them below. I will try to answer them as soon as I possibly can. Feel free to like and start subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, that's it. Have a nice one.